everyone. Welcome to Make Moments Matter, a music education podcast where I share lesson ideas, songs, games, and inspiring things for your elementary music classroom. My name is David Rao, and I am the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. This episode of the podcast is a replay containing the audio version of a Musical Mondays live video. If you're not familiar with Musical Mondays, every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I go live on Facebook and Instagram to share about the lessons that I'm using in class with my students. I give a recap of my kindergarten through 5th grade lessons, and then do a deep dive about one grade level and share the books, instruments, songs, and process that I use to teach the lesson to kids. This podcast episode contains all the audio from the Musical Mondays video, but if you'd like to see a replay of the video itself, you can find a link to the archived video on YouTube when you click the link in the notes for this episode. Thanks so much for tuning in. Here's the show. Hey everyone, my name is David Rao, and I'm the music teacher who blogs at makemomentsmatter.org. You can also find my ideas on Facebook, on Instagram, on Patreon, on a variety of places when you search for my name, David Rao, or Make Moments Matter. So tonight I'm going to be talking about rhythm sticks, which I know is just so scintillating, but it's something that I want to share some ideas about how you can use rhythm sticks in a variety of different ways, what you can do with different grades. I want to talk about different kinds of rhythm sticks in case you're interested, because I feel like rhythm sticks are the sort of thing that like we have when we get to our classrooms sometime, but maybe not, but maybe different varieties. But like, what do we have? How are you going to use it? And so tonight I'm talking about rhythm sticks and how you can use them in your classroom in a variety of ways. And then also how I teach the teacher pattern to my younger kids and what we would do when we play around with that. Okay, that's coming up in just a second. First, if you're interested and you want to see me not through a screen, but in person, I'm going to be in a couple places in the next month or so. On September 13th, I'll be with the Cincinnati Orff chapter doing a workshop called It Starts With a Story, all about words and stories and books and how can you use those in your classroom. The following week on September 20th, I'll be with the Rocky Mountain Orff chapter in Denver doing a workshop about critical thinking in Orff Schulberg. So if you're around the Denver area, we'd love to have you there for that. And then on October 4th, I'll be with the New England Orff chapter. And if you missed the It Starts With a Story workshop with Cincinnati, I'm doing it again with the New England chapter. So come on to Boston. So if you are around and you want to join in either of those places, we'd love to have you. There's more information on my website if you want to join in and learn about stuff in person and have fun in person and join cool groups of other music teachers who have mutual interest in teaching kids. Okay, so that's coming up in the next month or so. If you hear me talk about books, resources, ideas that you're interested in fact, in this video, I talk about a number of different kinds of rhythm sticks, and I have linked all those on the links page on my blog. If you go to the bottom of wherever you're watching, listening to this video, you should be able to click a direct link and go straight there, or you can go to makemomentsmatter.org and click on the video tab. Okay, so let's talk about rhythm sticks. I think rhythm sticks are like a useful tool that we sometimes forget we have. And so it's always fun to talk with other teachers about what they use and why. And one of the things that I love going around to when I see other people's classrooms is like to see what kind of rhythm sticks they have. What do they have? Because everyone has something different. I feel like so many of us have like inherited things that we've had from like years of people being in the building, and like, what did they buy? Maybe these rhythm sticks are from like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So I want to show you a couple different things that I have found and then tell you about my favorite rhythm sticks. So very often you will find just a plain basic like colored wooden rhythm stick, right? Usually about 12 inches. And these are great. They come in a variety of colors. You can still buy these. You can buy a version. There's a link on the links page if you're interested. And they're just wood. They make a really nice sound. Yes, sometimes they chip, and like over the many, many years that these have been used, they have, some of the paint is chipped off. I once had a teacher say like, I don't like using those because the paint transfers from one stick to another. Okay, well, maybe there's some here where like a kid has used a red stick on a light blue stick. It doesn't change the value of the rhythm stick. It still works great. But the thing that I do to not have that particular problem happen is when I hand out, well, first of all, I hand out the rhythm sticks. And when I hand them out, I hand out like 2 light blues to one kid, or 2 purples to another kid, or 2 reds to another kid, so they're not getting 2 different colored sticks. So like we're resolving that issue. But then also when I hand out sticks and I say like, I've got so many colors, let's look, with kindergarten, I'll be like, what color is this? And they're like, red. What color is this? Orange. Because they're still learning colors, right? So we go through all the colors they have, and I say, okay, if I don't get the color that I want, I should go, I didn't get the color I wanted, right? Is that what we should do? And the kids are like, no, Mr. Rao, that's silly. As if this has not actually happened. Like as if a kid has not actually thrown a tantrum about not getting their favorite color. Okay. And so then in kindergarten, I'll say, okay, instead, I shouldn't do that. I should go, I didn't want this color. This is not my favorite color. That's what I should do, right? And be really upset. And the kids are like, no, Mr. Rao, who would do that? I was like, I've had many kids do that. And so then I'll give another example of like, I didn't want this color. You know, again, I'm doing my best job imitating kids who have been in my classroom and done this exact thing. And I say, so, okay, well, if you get a color that's not your favorite color, don't worry, we're going to use these sticks again on another day. And so you might have another chance. And then this is my favorite phrase I learned from my friend Natasha Thurman. She teaches her kids to say, oh, well, maybe next time. Like if you don't get a turn to be the kid who's like the runner or like the conductor or the whatever is happening in your classroom, she always has them say, oh, well, maybe next time. And like my kids have said that now so often that they say it in other classrooms as well. Like if they don't get to do something in PE or art or whatever that the other kids get to do, they're like, oh, well, maybe next time. And they do it so often that like they just know, like you can just, you know, let it ruin your day. Maybe it's not your favorite color, but oh well, maybe you'll get another one next time. Okay, we're getting off topic. So there is very often you'll find sticks that are like the 12-inch colored version. You can also very often find this version, which is like the version with the ribbing, the like hash marks in it, so that when you rub the sticks together, you can get a scraping sound. How fun is that? I actually don't like these. I don't like the scraping as much. Sometimes I'll pull these out and use them with kids, but I'd much rather just have sticks that click, that don't scrape. But this is fun for teaching timbres and textures and like what other sounds can it make. Like this, it's good to have these. Now these can come in different sizes. Like there's 12 inches, there's 10 inches. Usually if you're buying this version, you get like one with like the rings and one without, usually. But I put a link to that. Oh my gosh, I even found in my little cabinet, I found these by Vic Firth. Someone bought Vic Firth rhythm sticks back in the day. Why? I don't know. And they're not completely colored, but like, I feel like these are like a relic that I should hold on to and like put in like a music teacher, like garage sale, like vintage store. Anyway, I don't know, but they're fun. And on here it says circle sticks. Fun. Anyway, I don't know why I have these. Okay, but my favorite rhythm stick that I found, also, when you're looking for rhythm sticks, sometimes you'll find them listed as Lummi sticks, Lummi. Why? I don't know. I don't know that. But I do know that they're just rhythm sticks. Usually the Lummi sticks are like heftier, like a thicker stick instead of like a smaller circumference. They're larger. I don't know. Maybe they're easier to hold, easier to grab. I don't know specifically why they're Lummi sticks, but they have the same function. It's just basically a large dowel, right? Okay, and then my favorite version that I found a couple years ago was this. And I found it in a PE catalog, but I linked on the links page. I think maybe Rhythm in Motion has these for sale. But anyway, they're plastic and they're hollow. And so the nice thing is they're light, they're super durable. They don't make a super loud sound, which is like great. And then when I did a lesson about like the Titi Toria, which is a Maori, like a native New Zealander tossing hand coordination game where you toss sticks back and forth, these are perfect because they're not so heavy. They're easier to use. They're easy to hold. If one hits you in the head, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't feel terrible. So these are a really fun option too. And these come in 4 colors, red, green, blue, yellow, which is cool because those are like my classroom team colors. Anyway, All these sticks are all options for whatever it is you want to use them for. I just want to, like, while I'm talking about rhythm sticks, let's talk about the options of what you can get. So there's just the colored version in whatever size you can find. There's smaller, shorter versions, 6-inch, 10-inch, 12-inch, depending on like the kid. It might be nice to have a bigger or smaller size for their hand, for their dexterity, ease of use. Because sometimes if you give a kindergartner like the foot-long rhythm sticks, it's just like too much, too unwieldy. So you can get them in different sizes. You can get the ones that are scrapable, that have like their rings on them. I don't love those, but that's just me. That's my own personal preference. And then there's the plastic ones that I showed, which are really great and super fun. And often you can find them in like PE catalogs, like PE equipment, because they're used for like relays and games and all sorts of stuff in the gym. Okay, so then what do you do with the sticks once you have them? Well, I find that there's a lot that I can do with them. I do a lesson every year with, I don't remember, first grade, second grade, I can't remember where exactly I plan it, where I think kindergarten maybe even sometimes, where we'll click and then we'll explore how can you make different sounds. Oh gosh, and someone said on Instagram, and the plastic won't splinter. That is true. I have not had one of these break. And I have had some of the wood ones splinter or crack over time. But honestly, for as old as these wooden sticks are, they're holding up pretty well. But anyway, yeah, the plastic ones don't splinter or shatter. Okay, so there's this lesson I do with my younger kids where it will click. We'll do a rhythm, we'll do a steady beat, we'll all echo patterns back and forth. And then I say, like, how else can you play them? And we go through and explore all the things you can do, like end to end, side to side. How can you play it? What are some inventive ways you can play? Like hold it with your hands, put one under your arm, put one under your neck. How can you click with a friend, click not with a friend? Can you make letters out of these? It makes a V, it makes a T. Like we play with all the things we can do. We click them together, we click in different places, we click loud, we click quiet. There are so many things you can do with them. You can tap on the floor, you can tap on the wall, there are so many things. So we spend like one lesson where we explore and try all the different sounds and timbres and things you can get out of them. How can you play them? And then that really, when we come back to just do echoing a rhythm or something else, I get so much of a better sound out of the students because they are more aware of the instrument and they're more aware of what it can do. And they treat it more like an instrument and less like just a stick. So that's sort of cool. And I think really valuable to be able to do that with whatever grade you're going to do it with, to get them to treat these rhythm sticks a little bit more musically. So the rhythm sticks are fun. I do that in an early grade. You could bring that back at any grade you wanted to have them come back and like, what kind of sound can you get? Can you do it with a partner? How can, to come up with different things. But the lesson I wanted to share is a lesson that I used this last week for first grade. So I wanted them to have a chance to practice an echo with more than just body percussion. We clap, we pat, we do all of that, which is great. And we explore that in a lot of different contexts. But then I also wanted to get an instrument in their hands in like one of the first weeks that they're in music. But I didn't want to haul out a lot of stuff. And I knew I had enough rhythm sticks for everyone. So I handed out rhythm sticks. And we started out just by echoing. I would do a pattern, they would click back. I would do a pattern, they would click back. I would do a pattern quiet, they'd have to click back quiet. I do a little louder, they go a little louder. I do a longer pattern, they do a longer pattern. Oh, by the way, my favorite thing when we're clicking patterns. So here's an example. Click, 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 click. Right, okay. Click, 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 click. I would not do the syncopated pattern for first grade, probably. Click, 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 click. My favorite visual is with students, since I have two rhythm sticks in my hand. I'll hold one up and hold it horizontally, and I'll say, so far the patterns I've been giving you are this long, but now I'm going to give you patterns that are this long. And I hold two rhythm sticks horizontally end to end. So now they see that now we are doubling the length of what I'm asking them to remember. This, I don't know where this came from, but one day I just happened to do it with my class. I think I even did it with mallets, where I was saying with a class, okay, I've been giving you patterns this long, now I'm going to give you patterns this long. And that visual was like, I don't know, fireworks, wonderful moment, because they immediately knew that it was twice the length, which was magical. So hold up your rhythm sticks end to end horizontally and show like one and then one next to another one, and it's twice as long. For some reason, it's so great. So then to help them with that, I'll do a pattern like this. where it doesn't just feel longer, it feels like two smaller patterns put together. Because yes, I really am just like increasing the length and they should be able to just echo it normally. But if they're thinking of one pattern and another pattern, it helps them sort of remember in their head, because going from 4 beats to 8 beats can be hard for them to remember. Like if I went, that's hard to remember, right? But if I did something like, that's easier because the first one is just single eighth notes, the second one is. So when I start giving these longer patterns, I do with an easy first or an easy second, just so they can see that it's two things put together. Okay, because otherwise they'll try and come in early usually. Okay, so we click, we play, we just echo, we echo patterns, we just do a steady beat. You know, how can you keep a steady beat on here? Can you keep it in a different way? Playing around with all the different things you can do just to keep a steady beat. Right, and then I say, okay, we've done a lot of patterns. I'm going to tell you a special teacher training thing that really students don't learn it. Teachers learn how to do this. This is the teacher pattern. I'm going to give you an early tip, an early hint of the teacher pattern. Really, this is for teachers to know and students to just learn eventually, but I'm going to teach you a special pattern. We learn it in teacher school. All the teachers know it. Do you want to learn the teacher pattern? And they're like, yeah, I want to learn the teacher pattern. I bet you've heard it. I bet you've heard teachers use this teacher pattern. I bet you have. I don't use it as much because I wanted to wait and tell you, but other teachers, they use it all the time. They're like, oh, tell me the pattern. Okay, here it is. Because they hear that everywhere, right? Like every teacher, when they want to get attention, like every time, right? Okay, so that is my, like, it's the teacher pattern. We play it, we try. How else can you do the teacher pattern? You know, how, bum, bum, knees, or like, floor, floor, floor. We play the teacher pattern in like a bunch of different ways. Can you play it quiet? Can you play it loud? Can you tap it on the floor? Can you do it with a partner? Can you, the teacher pattern, okay. And then it becomes like sort of like a poison rhythm game where I say, I'm just gonna echo back and all different kinds of pattern, but if you hear the teacher pattern, you can do it. And then you need to take your sticks and turn them into a T that means teacher. Or another class, I said, wiggle your sticks in the air to show that, like, once you've done it, you know that's the teacher pattern. So it's not really a poison rhythm yet because they are allowed to do it, just they need to identify that that's what they're doing. So I'll give them an example, like, they can click that back, no problem. They can click that back, no problem. They click, 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 and then make a T to show they know that's the teacher pattern, or they wiggle their sticks to show that it's a teacher pattern. Okay, then eventually it does become a poison rhythm where if I do it, they can't do it. They're not allowed to do it. So these, like, I don't call it a poison rhythm game, but I say, like, that's the teacher pattern. It's for teachers only. So if I do it, you don't do it. You're a student. Otherwise, we're going to make you grade stuff or something. I don't know. So then it becomes a poison pattern where if I click it, then they are not allowed to click it back. And then they think that is so much fun. And then, I mean, to keep this going, you can do longer patterns. You can do, switch it to something else away from rhythm sticks. But the teacher pattern is something that starts. And then what's I think funniest for me is that then when they hear it, they call out other teachers for doing that. Like the third grade teacher is like, they're like, that's the teacher pattern. And that teacher's like, what? But I want my colleagues to do other rhythms too. So it's like sort of my game with my staff that they don't know I'm doing. But it's just a fun thing to try with kids, again, because they hear it so often. And then when they hear it in the wild, in the lunchroom or whatever, they'll go, that's the teacher pattern. And I remember that from music, or, like, it gets them thinking about patterns in fun, exciting ways. So anyway, rhythm sticks, oh my gosh, there's so much you can do with them. And I hope that tonight showed you, like, here are some different things you can do with the rhythm sticks. Here are different rhythm sticks you can have. Here, it's more than just a 20-second, like, handout, now what? Because when I first used rhythm sticks in my classroom, I handed them out. We did an echo pattern. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to put them away because, like, I don't know what else to do. But there are so many things you can do with the sticks. They can be like a stair step where you take them and then you can do bucket drumming, or you can do mallet activities, or you could do, they can be a way to practice reading rhythm. They can be a way to do echoes. They can be a way to do ostinati. There are so many things you can do with them. and they can be a stair step to something else, but rhythm sticks can be their own instrument, and it can be really valuable to do all the things you do with them, with just those sticks. So don't undervalue rhythm sticks. There's a lot you can get out of them. And I hope that tonight gave you another idea of what you can do. Like I said, if you are interested in like these plastic hollow rhythm sticks, if you're interested in the ringed rhythm sticks, all the different kinds, I put a link on the links page so you can see all of them and see if you want to buy them. Just one thing to think about, if you're buying them, look at the specific listing, because sometimes it'll list like price per pair, and sometimes it'll be like price for like 8 pairs or something. So like, just make sure that you're getting the number of rhythm sticks that you actually need. Don't get confused by like, am I buying 1 pair? Am I buying like 12? Am I, like, just take a gander at that before you hit buy, so you make sure you're getting the right number for your classroom. All right, I'll be back next Monday for more ideas from the classroom. If you have any questions or comments or ideas, please leave them in the feed where you're watching or listening to this, or you can always send me an email. My email is makemomentsmatter@gmail.com. And like I said, I'm going to be in Cincinnati and in Denver and in Boston in the next month. So if you live near any of those places, reach out to me or check out my website under the About Me tab to find out where I'm going to be and when, so that you can come and we can all learn together in person. Because while digital learning is super fun and does give you new ideas, it's so amazing to be in person with people to learn together, because of snacks, but more than that, like in between the like lesson stuff, you get to meet other people and learn with other people and connect with other people, and that is so valuable. So if you live near any of those places, I hope you'll come and join us. If you don't, I hope you'll find your own local ORF chapter and go to a workshop near you. Okay, I'll see you all next week. Have a great night, everyone.